A 42-year-old Shannon Brandt of Glenfield, North Dakota, has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for running over and killing Kayler Ellingson at a street dance in McHenry, North Dakota last September. Brandt will receive credit for nearly 1 year already served behind bars, followed by 3 years probation. In a plea deal last spring, he pled guilty to a reduced charge of manslaughter. For background on all this, here's our reporting of the original criminal complaint following the incident. A highway patrolman was requested to respond to northern Foster County for a fatality hit-and-run accident. Trooper responded from his residence north of Jamestown. According to state radio logs, the reporting party, identified as Shannon Brandt, stated he struck the pedestrian because the pedestrian was threatening him. Brandt stated that the pedestrian called some people and Brandt was afraid they were coming to get him. Brandt admitted to state radio that he'd hit the pedestrian and that the pedestrian was part of a Republican extremist group. Once on the scene, I met with the officer, met with Foster County Sheriff Johnson, and was shown the area of the incident. Limited evidence was observed in the nighttime. A first responder who was first on the scene was interviewed and showed me where the male pedestrian's body was approximately located. The responder was identified and stated that the family of the pedestrian showed up along with the family of Brandt shortly after his arrival. The patrolman and Foster County deputy responded to Brandt's parents' house in rural McHenry and then to Brandt's house in Glenfield. There, Brandt was interviewed by the patrolman outside his residence and admitted to consuming alcohol prior to the incident. Brandt admitted to striking the pedestrian with his car because he had a political argument with the pedestrian and believed the pedestrian was calling people to come get him. Brandt admitted to leaving the scene of the incident and returning shortly after, where he called 911. Brandt did not remain on the scene until law enforcement arrived and ultimately returned to his residence. Brandt was placed under arrest for DUI and transported to the Stutsman County Jail. Brandt was advised of his Miranda rights and implied consent advisory. Brandt consented to a chemical breath test. The results of the chemical breath test were above the legal limit of .08. The complaint also goes on to say the victim in this called his mother and she was on her way to get him from McHenry. A short time later, the victim called again and stated he or they were chasing him. After this, the mother could not reach the victim. Again, Brandt has now been sentenced to 5 years in prison with credit for nearly 1 year already served, followed by 3 years probation. I'm Neil Carlson reporting for iNewZ.TV.